you're not new to InfoGist, you would have heard about the story we told you about Nigerian saga in Saudi Arabia, as a lot of them who exited Nigeria to fly into Saudi Arabia on a direct flight on Air Peace were deported back to Nigeria. And so far, so good, nothing had been heard from the authorities at that point in time. But just in the Air Peace chairman speaks on Nigerians' visas ordeal in Saudi Arabia. Now, the sad incident occurred on Sunday after about 267 of them who flew into Saudi Arabia from Nigeria were deported, but not all. About 170 of them were later deported back to Nigeria for reasons that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia had not yet explained to us. Now, this incident occurred barely 2 weeks after Air Peace launched a direct flight to Saudi Arabia. Now, is this kind of political or ethnical at this point in time? It gives us a reason of concern, as Mr. Allen Onyema, the chairman of Air Peace, has spoken on the ordeal of source cause of Nigerians who were deported from Saudi Arabia at the point of entry on Sunday. Now, Mr. Oyema said Air Peace did not breach any rule of engagement in conveying the passengers from Saudi Arabia, adding that the airline got approval and clearance on every procedure required of it before taking off from Nigeria. And it's worthy to know that this particular flight was monitored by both countries from the point of takeoff to the point of where they were dropped. And now, why didn't the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia actually say, fine, we don't want you guys to come to the country at this point in time. Give us your reasons, whereas you don't even give us a reason. You're saving us resources as well. Because at that point of takeoff to arrival, aerofuel was spent, time, and a whole lot of mental stress on the part of the passengers is also there. And coming up to face that level of embarrassment from another country we call our own was something that we wouldn't take, or rather Nigerians didn't take lightly on social media. Now, Premium Times reported that the authorities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia cancelled the visa of more than 170 passengers who arrived in Jeddah from Nigeria on Air Peace. Now, this incident sadly happened at the time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was attending the Saudi African Summit in Riyadh. That's quite an embarrassment. The president of Nigeria was on a visit to Saudi Arabia, and about 170 of his citizens were deported back to Nigeria for reasons that were not given as at that point in time. They literally said a few of them were had issues with the Saudi Arabian government, crime and stuff like that. But you would have said so. You had those people's information before takeoff and even at landing. So you should have probably done something about it at that point. Now, the Saudi Arabian embassy in Nigeria said the travelers that were deported did not meet the entry's conditions and requirements of its country. Now, the embassy added that the passengers submitted incorrect information to obtain categories of visa they did not qualify for. Now, Mr. Onyema said Air Peace confirmed that all passengers' visas were valid before departing Nigeria, and that the visas were valid as at the time the airline took off, Mr. Onyema said, adding that they got approval to fly the passengers through the Advanced Passengers Information System. Now, the Saudi Arabian embassy said they only discovered that the passengers gave incorrect information after they had arrived in Jeddah, and this discovery was made on their arrival. Now, the embassy would like to stress the importance of following the procedures and laws enacted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and all visitors, it said in a statement on Wednesday. Now, speaking to the Channels TV on Thursday, Mr. Onyema said that there are more issues that he would not want to discuss in the media house because an investigation is ongoing. Now, the Nigerian government said it's carrying out an investigation, so let's allow the investigation to take place, Mr. Onyema actually concluded. Now, I don't want to dwell on this. I want decorum and good diplomacy to prevail in this whole thing. I want justice and fairness, that's all. Now, the Sunday incident occurred barely 2 weeks after Air Peace commenced a direct flight to Saudi Arabia. Now, some public commentators are saying that the whole issue is a sort of strategy to frustrate the Nigerian carrier out of the route. Now, we're going to come back to that. Let's go on ahead and hear what Mr. Onyema had to say. Now, Mr. Onyema declined to speak on the allegations, but he said that what happened was really unusual because we followed every protocol. We are not in the business of issuing visas as an airline. Ours is to verify visas, got clearance through Advanced Passengers Information System, and we have done all that. Now, Yes, he said, but I also want to say something here. Countries reserve the right to allow or deny anyone entry into the territories even after giving a visa. In this case, the Saudi Arabian embassy is not denying that the passengers had visas as of the time of leaving Nigeria. However, they are saying that they discovered that the passengers gave incorrect information in obtaining these visas, he said. Now, by this information, the embassy is inadvertently excommunicating Airpeace. Now, Mr. Oyema said that Airpeace had no problems with Saudi Arabian government. We are very used to the Saudi Airpeace. And he said, in fact, the Saudis didn't waste any time to give us all necessary permits to operate directly to the kingdom. Saudi authorities have been very cooperative with Airpeace, and they like the way we perform successfully during the Hajj season. And we're going back to the fact of something they actually said. Yes, they said that this whole thing that the Saudi Arabian government at the time had an idea of people who were coming into your country, and these people had respectively had visas. And now getting to your country, you're saying 170 people gave incorrect. I like the word they use, incorrect, not fake. They gave incorrect informations. There are pictures there to verify people, right? Yes. Let's assume the names did not blend. Probably a spelling or two. Don't we have probably other verifications we can use to prove, oh, this is me, this is my picture, this is my name, to verify probably the spelling or an affidavit attached to it? Why just deport 170 Nigerians when the president of that country is in that country? I'm not saying they shouldn't, but let's get to hear what Nigerians had to react about this whole social media saga. And the first commentator on our list, Nigerians have a lot to learn from Saudi Arabia. Not every Tom, Dick, or Harry you let into your country, sometimes you verify. Okay, I see no reason why they would deport that huge number. How would they tell me that 170 people, or rather the entire crowd, had incorrect profiles? What were they thinking before issuing them visas? This should go to the Saudi Arabian embassy here in Nigeria. Exactly. How can 170 people? Do you think probably it's from the people? Like having 170 inconsistent people or people with bad attitudes coming up, and you're not saying, okay, yes, they're not accepting them because they have bad characters. Like 170. That's quite a huge number. Finally, on the reaction segment, Nigerians need to step up their game, as Saudi Arabia are already beginning to show us their true colors. We should now stand on our feet and probably talk sense into their head, as you don't want to listen. What do you have to say about this gist? Do you think that Saudi Arabian government is right and the manner of approach they use is okay? If you think otherwise, do well to drop your comment here on InfoGist TV. Thank you very much.